Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib, and we got a great show for you today. And if you want to call in, you can call in right now, 323-870-3857. And today, we're going to talk about The Star is Born on DAZN. Bam Rodriguez was impressive as I don't know what. This guy is so technical. And I got to be honest, this was my first time seeing him. I feel embarrassed after watching this. It's like, my gosh, it was pretty crazy. But first thing we're going to go over with is the pay-per-view last night, the Fox pay-per-view. Hopefully nobody paid for it, but I know Beeb stuck his neck out. Beeb does what you people don't want to do. He does this for you. Beeb bought the pay-per-view last night.
Oh, yeah. I told you I was going to buy it. You guys didn't believe me? It was worth every penny of it not.
It was worth about $6.99 of the $80 price tag. Yeah, that pay-per-view was hot garbage last night. And I told you guys don't buy it, so hopefully you guys didn't. We'll start with the main event and kind of work our way down. Keith Thurman wins a unanimous decision over Mario Barrios by the scores of 117, 111, 118, 110 twice. I got to be, man, this fight was all Keith Thurman. And I got to be honest, man, you got to give the guy his due. He looked great after a 2-year layoff. Thurman was just bigger. He was stronger than Barrios. Barrios, he had a few moments in the fight. He had a good body shot, I guess right around round 9 or something like that. But they were few and far between, man. Thurman, after the fight, stated that he wants to fight the champions in the divisions. For me, the fight to make is Thurman versus Boots Ennis. That's the fight to make for me. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see Crawford, but I like Boots Ennis against Thurman next. And it should be very makeable. That's a very makeable fight. Listen, man, as far as Barrios is concerned, he needs to go back down and weight. I mean, he got knocked out in his last fight at 140, and then he comes up to 147. I don't know what the theory was behind it coming to 147 other than a payday. But he just got batted around the ring by Thurman. I mean, Thurman was just bigger. He was stronger. He's, to me, and Beeb, you could speak to this. Barrios doesn't look strong at this weight. He just doesn't.
I think
he was manhandled last night.
I think he looked durable. He had some decent power. He got Keith Thurman's attention a few times. I think this was just a speed thing and a footwork thing. I think Keith Thurman's foot speed was just too much for him because he kept circling him, and Barrios was moving in straight lines back, forward and backward, and he just really couldn't get the punching angles, set up for himself, and he had to keep resetting his feet and planting his feet so he could punch. I think Keith Thurman's hand speed and his foot speed were just too great of an obstacle for Barrios in this fight, and that was that. And Keith Thurman did some good things. He went to the body. He was, hooking off the jab. He was varying up the offense pretty well, and he was, as always, accurate with his punches, placing his punches, perfectly, and he was throwing combinations. Keith Thurman did a good job. I thought he did a good job. Was this the right opponent at the right time? Yeah, it seems as though it was. I think I gave Barrios 2 rounds in the fight. So Keith Thurman won the fight 10-2. I don't know how you can criticize him or what to criticize him for on this fight. Could he have taken Barrios out? Could he have finished him? I don't know. Barrios seemed to be pretty, Barrios was pretty durable. He wasn't getting hit with multiple shots in succession. He would get hit with a good shot. He would recover, and he was blocking shots, so it was hard to hit. He wasn't being hit with more than like 2 shots at a time. It wasn't like he was being, blanketed with punches from Keith Thurman because he would make adjustments with his hands and he would parry shots, but he just couldn't stop the initial one or two shots because Keith Thurman was just too fast.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it was Centurion said that you went out on a lim picking Barrios. I picked Barrios as well.
I did.
I thought after the 2 year layoff, and Barrios, you can take you in a deep water. You know what I mean? He's got that dog in him, and I thought for sure that he was going to bring that out in this fight. I just don't think he's skilled enough to do it. And I think that I can't speak for you, but I know I underestimated Keith Thurman. Layoff coming after 2 years and fighting a guy who's been active. I didn't think he would look like this. I mean, I thought he looked pretty good. I really did. I mean, you got to give, I make a lot of fun of Keith Thurman. I call him a clown and everything like that. But that clown can fight, man. He can fight. He's a world-class fighter, man. A world-class fighter. Virgil Hunter, of course, in the corner of Mario Barrios. I've never seen Virgil Hunter, aside from Andre Ward, do anything with any boxer, be successful with any other boxer.
Well, I'm not so sure that's an issue of him just not being a good trainer or him just not getting the talent. He's...
Is it a question that it's certain styles, like he's got a certain style he works best, kind of like Emmanuel Stewart. He couldn't do anything with Jermaine Taylor, but like Lennox Lewis, he could take to the moon. You know what I mean? Thomas Hearns, he had a style. Guys that are tall, guys that are lanky, those were his guys. Is Virgil Hunter a lot of the same way? You have to have certain characteristics in order to fall into his system and be successful, or what, man?
Yeah, I mean, he just hasn't been fortunate enough to have anyone nowhere near the talent of Andre Ward come through his gym doors, So that's definitely an issue there. But I hear him in the corner, I see him training, and I just don't think he's a bad trainer. I just think that you can't turn water into wine. Only Jesus can do that. So,
I tell you, I know he knows what he's doing. I know he can train you. I get that. But again, man, it's like, I think you have to play the long game with Virgil Hunter. I think a lot of people come into him, a fight here and a fight here and a fight. You know what I mean? Andre Ward was there with the long game. And if you're going to go to Hunter, you got to be there for the long game in order for that to work. And I think too many people spot him like Freddie Roach or something like that. They'll go to Freddie Roach immediately after they fire their other trainer or whatever and look for a higher profile. And I just think that's kind of where, Virgil Hunter is not that trainer, not like that. He's not going to be able to revamp you in one fight. He's there for the long game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, Barrios, I don't think he's going to go back down. And I'm not sure if he goes back down, if he'll be any better at 140 than 147.
He just got knocked out at 140. I mean, who's he got down there?
Yeah.
I mean, who are you going to put him in with?
I guess Barrios is who he is.
Yeah.
He's a legitimate contender, but he's not a top 5 guy. And will he be a champion at 147? Maybe when all these guys move up, I don't know. But even then, it's still going to be a tough ask for him. It's going to be challenging because he doesn't have the quickest feet in the world. He's a very technically sound fighter. He's just not gifted athletically in terms of being dynamic like some of these other guys are. Some of these other guys are just high-powered athletic specimens. Like Crawford is an athletic specimen. Thurman's an athletic specimen. Porter, man, he was a natural.
Ugas,
these guys are just natural.
Any of those guys?
No,
he's not coming close. You take Jerome Boots Ennis, you take him. He ain't beating him. He's not beating anybody in that upper echelon. He's not beating. I mean, he's, and somebody in the chat said maybe he's too big for 40. You're gonna have to find a way, son. I mean, you're gonna have to find a way to get back down to 140. You are not competitive at 147. You're just not. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know going forward how competitive he's going to be at 140. He's going to be competitive in the sense that like he's going to, like this fight last night, you know, he's going to put up a good show. But are you just here to put up a good show? I think that's the question you got to ask. And at 147, you're not able to do anything but put on a good show. At 140, you might make some dents in there. But you're there. They remember you because you put on good fights, but at least give yourself an opportunity. 147, you got nothing here, man. Nobody's going to touch you. None of the top guys are touching him after last night.
No. Well,
you got walked over. Like
I always say, and let's just make this comparison, because when you're watching Keith Thurman last night, right? Were you watching him in there solely against Barrios, or were you picturing him in there with a Spence, a Crawford, an Ugas? And if you were doing that, how do you think he would have done against those guys? I think he would have. He could give Spence problems because of his foot speed, right? I don't see him beating Crawford. And Ugas is just very crafty. He's a strong guy, and he has great timing, and he has good anticipation, and he gauges distance very well. So I could see Keith Thurman moving a lot against a guy like Ugas, thinking he's out of range, but still getting tagged, because Ugas is just that instinctive, in the ring. So that's the thing. So believe it or not, him and Spence would be a great fight. And he may, as crazy as this may sound, out of all the champions, probably has the best chance against Spence. Because like I said, Spence is not the quickest guy in the world on his feet. And we just saw, all you have to do is look at that Porter fight with Spence. He looked very vulnerable there. He looked less than perfect, right? Because he had problems with Porter's foot speed. Now I had him winning the fight 8-4. Some people thought that he lost the fight. It was a competitive fight. I still thought he won, but it was much more competitive and problematic for him than I thought it would be because of Porter's foot speed.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let me tell you why he doesn't get past Spence or get past Crawford. It's the body work. And this has plagued him through his career. And I think it was Louis Collazo that hit him with that body shot that we first saw, like, whoa.
Even Barrios last night.
Stunned a body shot. He took his mouthpiece out. Didn't he take his mouthpiece out?
Again, yeah.
That's a
show of weakness. Taking
your
mouthpiece
out. I tell you what, man. And you know what? When those mouthpieces are fitted, you know how difficult they are to pull out? I mean, when they are fitted by a dentist, I mean, they're almost impossible to pull out. You have to it's not like you're just going to yank it out with a glove or whatever. But I mean, I tell you what, man. Yeah, those body shots are going to be a problem going forward for him.
I agree.
If he fights anybody in the other upper echelon, realistically, who does he face next?
There's no way he's going to go near Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz. There's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Shit. Who's out there, man?
Spence is tied up.
Spence is
Crawford.
tied up.
The only one without a dance partner is Crawford right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes after Crawford next.
I think that would be the fight. That would be a good fight.
It wouldn't be such a bad move.
No, I don't think so either, man. I don't think so either. Tank Rolly winner. He said the winner, like it's going to be in doubt, like who's winning that fight. Oh man. Yeah. And Rolly Romero is now the number one. They made it mandatory now. They made him and Tank mandatory.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So he was cleared of all charges. So now he's,
as I said, mandatory. He would, as I anticipated he would be.
Rolly Romero. Yeah.
I didn't like how they handled that, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you had your take on it, and I have to, I have to respect that,
Well, that's the thing, man. Life it's one of those things. Life ain't fair. We always hear it. We heard it as kids. We hear it over and over again. Life ain't fair. King KO says Rolly's got a shot. I agree. I 100%. I like Rolly Romero a lot, man. I agree.
Think Rolly can give Tank problems? I mean, Tank looked a little vulnerable in that Isaac Cruz fight, I had him winning that fight like 7 rounds to 5. That was much more competitive than I
you
thought
know,
it would be.
and you know another reason I like Rolly is he called out Tank and he says, "Yeah, I want to fight this guy," and he's coming up. He's like an up-and-comer guy. You know what I mean? He's not established yet. He's not, you don't see him biding his time, waiting. He called out the champ, and the champ said, okay, let's do it.
He's not playing games at all.
I like it, man. I think, hey, listen, man, if more people did this, it'd be a lot more exciting. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I don't hate it.
Better. I don't either.
I don't hate it.
Let's talk about here. Let's see here. We got the co-main here was Leo Santa Cruz versus Keenan Carbajal. 12 rounds featherweight. Santa Cruz wins an easy decision over Carbajal by the scores of 193 times. What's next for Santa Cruz? I mean, because this was just
this
nonsense.
was another workman-like performance from Santa Cruz. It wasn't earth-shattering. It wasn't a super crazy off the charts type performance. But he's a PBC fighter. There's a lot of fighters over there around his weight class that they can match him up with, and he'll keep on a trucking. He'll keep on a trucking, and he'll do. He'll keep being on these cards and keep getting these paydays. But will he be? Can he be a world champion again? Yeah, but will he ever be the man again? I'm not so sure.
He's
sure. He's got a lot of miles on him. He has a style where he takes a lot of punishment. He doesn't mind taking 2 to give 1, right? But he is obviously he's definitely a prolific puncher, got a lot of volume, very exciting fighter. But again, his defense isn't the greatest, and he's coming off that Tank loss, got knocked out there. He's been in a lot of tough fights.
Well, we know he can box.
Yeah.
We know he can box, and he can box well. He showed that against Frampton,
But many of his fights have not been easy. They've been tough. So at some, he's in his 30s now. So is he turning the corner? Possibly. But we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yeah, but he's not going to show us anything on a performance like this against an opponent like this.
No, I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. This was a guy that was there for him. It was a showcase type fight. It was kind of like a wash, rinse, repeat type thing. He would just go in, ambush, run his combinations, go back out. Once again, this card last night, was basically a card of showcase fights. Now,
sure.
again, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because on paper, because of the unknown with Thurman, with the layoff and the injuries and the mentality being questioned and all that, because of all that, the odds were pretty close. I mean, he was like he was a minus 185. Barrios was like a plus 150, 160-ish. So the odds makers had this fight close because of the unknown. What Keith Thurman were we going to get? And we got a pretty good version of Keith Thurman. And not everyone expected that version of Keith Thurman. I know Maestro Boxing, we were talking earlier in the week, and he expected this type of fight. He didn't think it was going to be close. He was actually scoffing at the fact that some of us were picking Barrios. He couldn't believe it. But, it is what it is. If he was in his Stephen A. Smith voice, it was, in his opinion, it was blasphemous that we were picking Barrios. Right?
I tell you, what's funny is that, like, when fights like this, and where you should be picking Keith Thurman, but there's no question. And some people are just, we take Barrios because he's been off so long and this and that. I always go back to the book. You remember that one book we had that we did a review for, and it says that 99%, about 90% of the fights are fixed and predetermined, basically, in the sense that not that they're paying anybody off, but in the sense that we know who's going to win before this. And this is why the matchmakers are so good that they know why they're going to win and how they're going to, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things, man.
Yep.
Just one of those things. On the undercard, Abel Ramos versus Lucas Santamaria. I believe this was on Fox, if I'm not mistaken. Santa Maria wins over Ramos here, 96-94 twice and 98-92. Not for nothing, man. I was a bit surprised. I thought Ramos had won this fight. Now I wasn't scoring it, but as I'm watching the fight, I thought Ramos had won the fight. I don't know. I mean, who did you have in that fight?
Not Ramos.
Oh, you're a liar. I don't know. I thought he won the fight, man. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything about it. Jesus Alejandro Ramos. Now, this is his nephew or something like that. I don't know. They're related somehow. Versus Vladimir Hernandez, 10 rounds, junior middleweights. Ramos wins via 6th round TKO over Hernandez. Looked pretty good here, Beeb, no?
He looked really good. I thought, he was just impressive, man. He was strong, powerful, walked him down, and it wasn't even close. Like I said, none of these fights were really close.
Old fashioned,
as you would say,
squash matches.
You would say, these were squash matches.
Yeah, exactly. Luis Neri versus Carlos Castro, 10 rounds, junior featherweights. Neri wins a split decision over Carlos Castro, 96-93, 95-94. And Castro was a winner on 95-94 on the other card. So Luis Neri gets the nod here. Did you get the message from Chakal?
Yeah, he thought Neri was going to lose.
He thought Neri was going to lose. He showed me the picture of the weigh-in. He was dry, man. He was real dry.
Yeah, but he started to fade a little bit, in rounds 5 and 6. You know what I said to myself? I said, "Oh, here we go again, off to a quick start, and then he's just going to fade." But he came back in 7-8. He came back in 7 and 8, but he lost 9 and 10. So I had this like a 6-4 type fight. It was a competitive fight.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a clear Neri victory. I really couldn't find a way to give Castro this win. I thought Neri definitely was landing the more telling blows. And he was putting out more volume than normal. And you know what he was doing? He was very crafty in this fight. He would circle. He did like the Manny Pacquiao move. Instead, he's a southpaw, obviously, and southpaws generally move in the direction of their lead hand. So generally, a southpaw is going to move to his right. He was moving to his left, and trying to walk Castro into that straight left, and he was setting him up really, really good, really well with that straight left because he was moving and circling him, and Castro was following him. And it was like he was setting that trap, and he sucked him right in, and he was walking right into that straight left hand. So I thought that Neri did some great counterpunching in this fight. He had some great tactics, good movement, a lot of subtle movement, and he was turning Castro. It was a good performance, definitely a good performance. But like I said, I was saying to myself, here we go again, because he started to slip a little bit in rounds 5 and 6. And I thought that was going to be a pattern, but he came back in 7 and 8. But credit to Castro, he came back in 9 and 10. So this was probably the best fight on the card in terms of entertainment value and competitiveness. So I stand corrected. This fight was competitive. This was the best fight on the card.
Let's talk about Ryan Carl versus friend of the show, Omar Juarez, 10 rounds, junior welterweights here. Juarez wins a split decision over Carl by the scores of 95-94. 95-94 and 96-93 for Juarez. So 95-94 split, and then 96-93 for Juarez. Good fight. What's going on? I mean, I watch Omar Juarez, and he has a lot of talent, but that guy was tough last night. And I don't know if it was frustration setting in or what, but he just seemed to outgut Juarez in that fight. And I had, I thought that, Juarez did enough to win, but that was a close fight. And I don't know that it really should have been, Beeb.
Yeah, Juarez, he gets hit a lot, and he's got a very porous defense. He's very aggressive, but sometimes he can be a little bit reckless. And because of that, he's taking damage, and these fights are tough for him. So he's not the slickest guy in the world. He's not the most crafty guy in the world. He's going to be one of those blood and guts type fighters. He's going to be a Mickey Ward. Well, I can't even say he's a Mickey Ward, because Mickey Ward doesn't get enough credit for his boxing ability. But he's gonna be one of those sluggers types, those grinders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and I'm not so sure he's gonna have a long career based on his style because again, he's not that. He's gonna be that guy that's going to be in a lot of tough fights. None of these fights are easy. He's been in a lot of these fights he's had to grind them out, you know? So we got to give him credit for his heart and his determination and his grittiness, but you know, he is who he is. He may not be the most gifted guy in the world with all due respect. And because of that, you know, he may not have the longest of careers.
Do you think there's been a lot of chatter in the chat here about Tank versus Keith Thurman? I don't think that fight happens. Do you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I would not be surprised in the least.
So what do they fight for? Tank just moves up to 147 and fights for nothing.
That's it. Well, what did Thurman and Barrios fight for? I mean, they don't give a shit over there.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Look at the fights they make over there.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, like, do any of these fights over there make sense?
No, they really don't. A lot of them don't, man.
Right?
That's true.
So I wish I could tell you something different, but I mean, like I always tell you, you know, you got to look at the empirical data, and the empirical data shows us that they'll fucking take two pigeons off the street and throw them in the ring and have us pay to fight, watch them fight. They don't give a shit. You know,
it's a good fight, but with no titles on the line, how would they, you know, generate? You got to figure that, you know, because the public likes titles on the line, and these aren't like two household names exactly. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. See, we'll see.
Tank. I don't know. See what they seem to think they got something in Tank, and I'm not going to say they don't, but do they have exactly what they think they have? That's another question.
It's a big question. On the zone, Carlos Cuadras versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez for the vacant WBC junior bantamweight title. Jesse Bam Rodriguez wins a unanimous decision over Carlos Cuadras, 117-110 twice and 115-112. I thought 115-112 was a little close to me, but whatever. I was really impressed by Rodriguez, man. He's got a lot of power for his weight. He's also very technical. I think that's the other thing that got me. He was just super technical fighter, man. He had Cuadras guessing the entire fight. With the win, Rodriguez now becomes the youngest reigning champion in boxing. He had 22. I believe it was 22. So there you go. Beeb, I was surprised when I saw the odds for this that Rodriguez was favored, and he was favored like by a lot. It wasn't even close. I mean, it was a big discrepancy here.
Cuadras got a lot of miles on him. You know, he's been knocked, you know, he's been hurt. He's been beat up in a couple fights, knocked out in a few fights. He's older. You know, I have to be honest. I didn't know a ton about Rodriguez. I heard a lot of good things about him.
Right.
I heard a lot of good things about him. And shout out to Steve Kim. Steve Kim was really hyping this guy up. And, you know, he said that he believes this kid's, he compared him to the natural, like Roy Hobbs. And once again, this kid's like, I think 22, 23 years old, but I'm going to go back to the, you know, description of a fighter and, you know, go to that instinctive quality again and mention that and bring that up again, because this is a young kid who is very instinctive, right? You could tell these fighters who are just natural fighters, when they just do things extemporaneously, you can tell when someone is trying to do something and they're, you know, forcing it,
right?
And when it just flows. And I have to say, and again, I tend to make hyperbolic statements, but it's been a long time since I've seen such a fluid combination puncher like I seen, you know, with Bam Rodriguez. He just lets those punches flow, knows the right punches to throw at the right times, knows just how to gauge the distance, knows where he's at all times, never looks like he's off balance, never overextends, never is out of position. He got hit a few times, but once again, he corrects the mistakes quickly. It's hard to pin this kid down and land solid combinations on him. He'd get hit one time and he'd make the adjustment with either with his hand positioning or just make that subtle step off to the side. And the variation, he just looks like a natural fighter in there. Like he was born to do this,
Yeah.
He like walked in the gym one day and it took little or no instruction to show this kid how to fight.
This guy fights textbook too. It's not like, he is a textbook fighter. He's just one of those guys where if you're going to pattern a fighter, you take a look at him. He does all the basics correct.
Yeah.
All the basics are done well with this guy. And that's a big deal. And that will take you a long way. This guy, man, I'll tell you what, a star was born last night, man. Cause we've seen Carlos Cuadras in tough fights and we've seen him come back. We've seen him, but I think that Outlaw said it best. He said that he was completely outclassed in this fight. And he was. It was bad.
And the difference in experience, it was just, it was great. He was in there with the former champion, a world-class guy. And he made him look ordinary.
Ordinary. Just
ordinary.
Completely ordinary. That 115, 112, I don't know what they were watching. There, but 117, 110 was about the right score, I think.
That's exactly what I had it. I had it 117, 110. And Bam Rodriguez, that was his 15th fight last night, 22 years old. Very similar to the Teofimo Lopez situation, right? Very similar, right? But the difference is this young man seems to have a really good head on his shoulders. And no, all due respect to Teofimo Lopez, I don't want to kick a person when they're down, but you could just see, that this guy's a student of the game. You definitely see that.
Wow, really? You just took a dump all over Teofimo, man. Wow, that was cold-blooded, Beeb.
We got to tell the truth. We got to tell the truth here, man.
You just took a dump square all over. While he was down, too. While he's down. He almost died in that fight, and you're over there like,
We got to tell the truth here, man.
Unbelievable. Wow, that was rough.
We got to tell the truth.
You got to be more tactful. That was rough. That was disrespectful.
We wish the best over here at Beeb Industries for Teofimo Lopez. We've
cut him from our advertising.
we've sent him a statement out there wishing him the best. Don't get down on yourself,
Oh my goodness. That's right. All right, across the pond, man. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Williams. Listen, I didn't get to catch the fight. I didn't see it. I don't think it was on TV. I didn't even catch it on YouTube because I really didn't care that much. But Eubank wins a unanimous decision over Williams, 116-109, 116-108, and 117-109. I think Liam Williams, correct me if I'm wrong, B, wasn't he knocked down 4 times in this fight?
By jabs a couple times too. And I guess
and it was still 8 rounds to 4.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very one-sided fight. But here's the thing that's kind of frustrating with Chris Eubank Jr., right? And Carl Froch and George Groves, part of the commentary team over there at Sky, they were very critical. They were very critical of Eubank's performance because when you're outclassing someone like that, right? You don't play with your food. He's sitting there, a lot of insignificant posturing and movement and a lot of, just things that mean like, what are you doing them for? They have no significance, right? It's almost like you're playing. Here's the thing, Eric, and you know this as well as I do. People don't pay to watch you spar. They pay to watch you fight. Yeah. And if you want to clown around and play with someone when you can get them out of there, there's no reason why you couldn't have got him out of there. I don't want to hear this, I want to go rounds bullshit. I'm trying new things. You can't have that mentality. Try to go into a fight with Gennady Golovkin with all this putting your hands out there, doing this, that, and the third. You don't play boxing, all right? Because once you start doing that stuff against guys like Liam Williams, and then people can say, He was doing that because he was in there with, okay. But once you start doing that, you start developing bad habits, you start becoming complacent. You should fight every fight as if the guy in there can take your head off.
Yeah.
All right. You shouldn't be hesitating or playing around. Remember what's his name? Nate Campbell, and against Robbie Peden, put his hands down and stuck his face out like that. And when Robbie Peden knocked him out cold, you don't play boxing. You just don't play boxing. So, Eubank, I don't know what he's trying to do in there. He's trying to reinvent himself. He used to be a more dynamic, aggressive guy, but like someone said in the chat, he wants to be Roy Jones Jr. He's trying to be Roy Jones Jr. But Roy Jones Jr., if he hurt you, he'd get you out of there. He didn't. You don't carry guys or play around with guys. You get them out of there when you can get them out of there. And a lot of people are critical of him because you stop playing around with the wrong guy, and like I said, you can get knocked out of there.
Absolutely. We've seen it happen a million times. I mean,
Absolutely.
We've seen it happen a million times. And, Eubank, I know Eubank Sr. used to do a lot of that stuff, like a lot of the posturing in the ring, and he would just stand there and pose and stuff like that. Listen, just be your own guy. Be your own guy. It
looks like he's trying to be someone else in there. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think Roy Jones, if he's being honest, he's got to pull him aside and tell him that, listen, I know you see how I used to fight, and I'm training you now, and I'll show you some of the things I did. But you still have to be yourself. You can emulate me, but don't imitate me. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a difference. Roy Jones was a killer.
Yeah, Roy Jones had got you out of there.
He's not going to play around. He'll play around, but in the same token, he'll play around, but then flip the switch and get you out of there when it's time to get you out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And after every fight, I'm noticing too, like there's my shoulder, my hand. You got to get it together, brother. Got to get it together.
That's it. Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't know who I want to see Eubank in with that. I mean, I want to see him in there. Liam Williams is okay, but I want to see his competition get up now. I want to see you fight a top 10 guy. You know what I mean? I want to see a legit contender guy. That's what I want to see.
Well, here's the disturbing thing. We're hearing Kell Brook's name being thrown around.
Stop it.
There's even I know even Conor Benn called him out at a catch weight. I don't think they're going to do that, but the names that they're mentioning are I don't know, the Billy Joe Saunders, would that be a good fight for him? I mean,
Billy Joe's retired.
Billy Joe's 100. Billy Joe's 100
milk carton. You know what I mean?
He's 160. He's 168 pounder. Like, what are you going to try to fight him at 160? I mean, he's not going to be able to come down on 160. He's got one. He's basically retired, like you said. How much sense does that fight make? Oh yeah, we got history, we got this, that. But you guys went in different directions. You took different paths.
Right.
He's struggling to make 168, Billy Joe Saunders. How's he going to make 160 again? When are you going to fight him at 168? I thought you wanted to be a champion at 160. So,
right.
Who knows?
I said, man, I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know. Again, and somebody in the chat just Team Batman said that if he thinks if Brooke wins that he's going to fight Brooke.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. I mean, that's a terrible fight.
I would not be surprised if that happens.
I wouldn't either. I'll be honest. Let's talk about the undercard here. Claressa Shields versus Emma Kozin. Shields wins by unanimous decision over Kozin, 100-90 on all cards. This was I guess kind of a big snooze fest. I mean, it's a one-sided fight. But after the fight, there was more action after the fight than was during the fight. Savannah Marshall came down. The two got face-to-face and her and Claressa were jawing at each other and everything like that. Beeb, she wins a lot of fights. She doesn't put a lot of people away. In fact, she puts more people to sleep in the crowd than in the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Savannah Marshall was cracking on her and ragging on her, saying, "Yeah, people started walking out after the 5th round."
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I respect Clarissa Shields. Obviously, she's a phenomenal fighter. But if you would have asked me who would you rather see fight, Katie Taylor or Clarissa Shields, I would pick Katie Taylor all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would pick Katie Taylor all day. I'm being honest. I just I'm not crazy about Clarissa Shields' style. I respect her. Now, can Savannah Marshall bring out something in Clarissa Shields we haven't seen? I don't know. We'll see. But Savannah Marshall can punch. She can get girls out of there, and you can criticize her competition all you want. But once again, there's not a ton of competition out there in female boxing. We got the super fight here with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and this Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields is a great matchup too. So, you hear Clarissa Shields, criticizing Savannah Marshall's opponents, but okay, outside of Hannah Gabriel's and, Christina Hammer, who have you fought? With all due respect. I mean, and that's not a knock on either female. It's just that they're just, all you can do is go to BoxRec and look at the divisions and how many registered middleweights, female middleweights are there? There's not a
7.
there's just not a lot of fighters out there for these girls to fight. Now at 135 and 140, it's a little better. But even there, it's still tough for these matchups. At least you have like you got Jonas, you got Jonas down there, you got Pursoon, you got Katie Taylor, you got Serrano in the lower weight classes. So you got some fighters in the lower weight classes, but once you start moving up, there's not a lot of world-class middleweights or super middleweights out there, in the female boxing rankings. It just isn't. So
I got to be honest, out of the 2 fights, Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields, and then you have Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, out of those 2 fights, I'm not interested in really either. I got to be honest.
That's
not interested.
You have a right to feel that way. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm extremely excited for the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight because I'm a big I love Amanda Serrano, but I'm a huge Katie Taylor fan as well. But you know what? I mean,
I like Katie Taylor a lot. I'm just not excited for this fight. I don't know.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you like what you like. We can go into an ice cream parlor. You may like chocolate. I may like Rocky Road. I mean, that's just the way it is. Everyone
like Rocky Road, dude. That's just stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Dumb.
Well, of course. I mean, you're just a basic, straight up black and white type guy.
You're just a basic, straight up hater. How about that?
I like to go up and down. I like to,
Yeah, I've heard that about you. Anyway. All right, let's go to the phones here real quick. We got Robert. I see him in the
fucking rat.
Oh, that's cold-blooded, B. Why you do him like that, man? That's cold-blooded. Robert, you're live.
What's up, Rob?
Hello, guys.
Is that your door? Is that your doorbell?
Thank you for calling me a rat, Joe.
I didn't call you a rat.
That's my
I was telling Lois I just saw a rat run across the floor. I wasn't talking to you.
Yeah.
I said, Lois, look at that rat.
Yep. I'm very impressed with
fucking weasel.
I'm very impressed with Bam Rodriguez. That's the first time I ever seen him, and that was a great performance last night.
That was good, huh, Robert?
Bam looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Yeah. No, and Eric, you're definitely right. A new star is born. I'm wondering though, because Cuadras has been in so many wars, how do you think Rodriguez would do against Chocolatito or any of the others like Rungvisai or any of those?
He beats them all.
Okay. You don't think any of them would be any kind of a contest, Eric? You think he blows them all out?
Yeah. Do you see that guy fight last night?
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
Very good.
He's pretty
Very
solid.
good,
Pretty
man.
solid fighter.
What's the matter, Robert? You weren't paying attention?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I think he blasts
wrong with you,
everybody, man.
Were What were you and Mrs. Herrick doing when the fight was on last night? Making fondue? Come on, what the fuck? Pay attention.
Joe, give me a break.
Guys doing playing Connect 4 over there? Come on.
Well, hey, speaking of fights, are you aware that ESPN Plus has fights tonight?
Yeah, it was. I mean, what is the fight? It's not. I don't think it's anything very exciting, right?
What is it, Robert? What's the fight?
What's the fight? What's the fight, Robert? I can't remember the names, but I can't remember.
You don't remember the names.
You don't remember the names,
but you don't remember
you're
the
coming
names
on. You're coming on here trying to be a promoter.
What's the matter with you?
What are you like, Oscar De La Hoya, reading the fighters' names off the paper?
What are you doing?
We have a great card tonight. What's wrong with you?
Oh, no, come on. I don't talk.
Come on, Robert.
I don't talk like that.
Come on, Robert.
Give me a break, Joe.
It's like a realtor. That's like a realtor trying to sell someone a house and saying, "Hey, I want to show you this house." Then they walk in the house and then someone's asking them questions. How many bedrooms does it have? Oh, I don't know. Let me walk around. We'll count them together. You should know what's going on before you come on here.
You come on and you say he gets disgruntled. I know. Beeb gets disgruntled easily anymore.
Robert, you know.
Yeah.
I just had a jelly donut and an apple fritter before I came on this show. So it's either caffeine or sugar that I'm jacked up on before I do this show. So you know by now what you're going to get when you call in here. Don't act surprised. Right. And don't ever come on here trying to play the victim because you'll get no pity over here.
Oh, that's terrible, Beeb. Come on. He's a caller of the year. Show him some respect.
Anyway, let's get on to some other topics. I want to see Boots Ennis blow out Keith Thurman.
Wow, that was very disrespectful.
What did Keith Thurman ever do to you, brother?
Yeah. Why don't you like Keith Thurman? Did you watch the fight last night, Robert?
Absolutely not.
He shouted you out at the end of the fight. You didn't see that?
Nope. Absolutely not. But seriously, no, I want to see Boots Ennis blow out Keith Thurman.
Keith Thurman looked good last night. Keith Thurman looked real good last night.
Yep. Well, look at the competition.
Wow.
You said it yourself.
I picked Barrios to win.
You said it yourself.
Me and B both picked Barrios to win.
I know, but you said that he needs to drop down to 140. He wasn't competitive at 147. Beeb said Barrios is too slow. Thurman had it real easy last night. Put him in against a killer like Boots Ennis, and let's see how easy it is.
Man, that's rough, boy.
And as far as Eubank is concerned, he's now the #1 mandatory for Murata. Let's see Murata take care of Eubank.
What happened to Triple G? I thought he was. I guess he's got a title. What's going on with that fight?
I have no idea. They were supposed to fight in December, but Japan locked everything down. It's supposed to be rescheduled, but I haven't heard a new date.
And why don't they just open it back up?
And I think
everybody else is living with it. You know what I mean?
And I think. And I think DAZN has about had it with one Gennady Golovkin. They're not getting their money's worth.
Yeah, but it's not his fault. He was scheduled to fight. He was scheduled to fight on New Year's. I mean, that's like an act of God. I mean, how could he control that?
I know, but I'm talking about the lack of activity, Eric.
I agree. I mean, what are they going to do with this guy?
They ain't going to do anything with him. You know, he's got to pay. I mean, I'm sure it's not like a guaranteed contract. I'm sure he's got to fight to get his money. So, I mean, if he ain't fighting, they ain't paying him.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
And what chance do you give Daniel Jacobs this weekend, guys?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But what chance do you give him?
I think it's going to be competitive, but Daniel is another one that's been out of the ring for quite a while. And because of the lack of activity, it'll be interesting to see what he looks like.
Let me ask you a question. Besides Canelo Alvarez, who's been active this past year?
Got a point.
Well, you got a good point, Joe. You got a good point.
I always have good points.
I don't know. It's hard.
That's why I'm here and you're over there.
Oh, that was rough. That was wrong.
It's hard. It's hard to judge some of these people because, a lot of it couldn't be helped because everything was closed down. But, I think everything is starting to get back to normal. So hopefully people will start taking fights and we can get back to regular boxing as we know it.
Okay.
There it is. All right.
So,
Robert, who you got in the Super Bowl?
anyway, I'm going to be rooting for Cincinnati, but I'm going to. I haven't
the Bengals,
decided who I'm
son.
actually going to pick. Look, Cincinnati has never won a Super Bowl, so I'm going to be rooting for them.
So who are you picking?
I don't know yet. I don't have to make my.
To me, you don't know.
I don't know yet. What?
To me, you don't know.
What is wrong?
How many more stats you got to go over?
I don't know yet.
How many more stats you got to go over, son?
What is wrong with this?
Jamar
kid?
Chase, Rookie of the Year. Joe Burrow, Comeback Player of the Year. That offense is killer. The defense is killer. The defense is solid. What are you talking about?
What about Eric? What about your offensive line? How many?
We got there in spite of, son. We got there in spite of, son.
And how many times is Aaron Donald and Von Miller going to get to Burrow on Sunday?
They might get to him quite a few times. But Burrow ain't coughing up that ball.
That's not good for you. That's not good for you. You know?
It's never good for you, but you win in spite of.
As I told you on the show that we did, he holds the ball too long. He's got to get rid of it immediately.
He got rid of it pretty quick in Kansas City, didn't he?
Well, I hope he learned his lesson from Tennessee. You know?
That's it. That's it. All right, you better pick the Bengals, Robert. All right, and put you back on hold.
All right. See you.
267 Philly. You're live.
Philly Drew in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Stand up.
Got that right.
Gave this guy a great
What's
intro.
up, guys?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
What's happening, man?
Chilling, sitting at home, not doing anything.
Yeah, you don't seem like you're doing much over there.
So what's on your mind, buddy?
How's everything going over there in Philly?
I gotta say, well, you could say that, but Sixers won today. I'm happy, but I gotta be honest with you. I was bored with this Keith Thurman fight. Like Barrios is garbage. He definitely made the top 10 as a 100-pounder, in my opinion. Like, he's 140. There's like maybe 6 good fighters in that division in the top 10, and he barely hits the top 10 in that division and gets knocked out by Tank Davis, which he was actually on my card. I had him winning by a round before he got knocked out. Barrios.
Yeah, he was winning. Yeah,
he looked awful in this fight. He looked absolutely awful last night against Keith Thurman. And everybody should know why they match him up with Barrios. Thurman can move, Thurman can box. That's what you're most going to get. Like they thought he was going to knock Barrios out. Keith Thurman didn't get the job done. He didn't knock him out. He got the lopsided win. I had Barrios winning as one man that whole fight. And like, I called the Jesus Ramos fight. You can even check on Twitter, my tweet. Jesus Ramos is 6. He won in 6. But I want to comment on Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. is like a quarter of Roy Jones Jr. on him. That's it. He's not that talented, Chris Eubank Jr. Because if he was talented like Roy Jones, he would have beat Billy Joe Sanders. Just saying.
There you go. There you go. All right, Philly Drew, we're going to get moving here. 716, you're live. And again, maybe you're not. All right, let's go to 760. 760, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? This is Brian.
Brian, what's happening?
Where the hell have you been, buddy? I've been
on a milk carton, man. Where you been?
I mean, for Christ's sakes, I called the police. I was worried about you.
He was worried about you, man.
Put on an APB on you, brother.
Who's going to dress Joe now?
Oh,
I was like, now he's back,
you
though.
know,
Now he's back.
Just been busy, the kids, work and everything, doing the daddy thing.
I was worried about you, man.
Hey, but look, man, hey, I went out there, did a search, went to the post office, and finally got a hold of the dude that had the cologne, and I got it. you know, the Manscaped cologne.
I sent that to you like 6 months ago. What do you do? What are you talking about? What is?
Nah, you know it. Nah,
What do you guys
it
get the
like,
mail late over in
6 months
California?
ago.
I like
It's crazy,
FedExed it,
man.
son.
Man,
I FedExed it.
what did you have?
I didn't
walking over all
USPS
the
it,
way to
son. I
California or
FedExed
what?
it, son.
Man, you put that package on a horse and sent it all the way to California.
Son,
Stop playing,
I
man.
FedExed it, son. That package arrived in a FedEx box.
Hey.
I watched them pack it, son.
Oh man,
What
it
are you
just got
doing
here,
over
man.
there?
It just got here. Nah, hey man, but I appreciate that, man. You know, thank you guys for that. You know, even though I had to work hard to earn it and everything like that, but I got it, and thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Hey, back to this boxing thing. I only got one question, and that's it. How you guys think Keith Thurman and Barrios did on the pay-per-view buy? I don't know if you talked about it yet, but
200,000.
Probably 10,000.
10,000.
Can I? I'm gonna say something controversial.
Eric,
Check this out.
You think 200,000, Eric?
No, listen to this though.
200,000.
Check this out. Check this
well,
out.
I mean,
Brian.
Fox was promoting it.
Brian, check this out. So my friend who usually streams a lot of fights, right? And a lot of times when you stream fights and they buffer, that means a lot of people are watching them. He streamed this fight.
Mm-hmm.
It was buffer free. It was like nobody was even watching this fight. No one even this fight. There was no. This fight was so unappealing to the public, man. People weren't even streaming it, brother.
It had to be, because I was like, last year I spent so much money in boxing and on boxing, these pay-per-view events. I'm like, man, I'm about to put my foot down. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I didn't even really show no interest in it. That's why I'm asking, how did it do in the pay-per-view buy? But they ain't gonna. You think they even gonna release it?
If we hear anything, it'll be by Wednesday or Thursday of this week. That's usually when they come out. But chances are, if it did poorly, you're not going to hear it. And poorly is under 200, 250 under. You're not going to hear about it.
We'll see if your man Coppinger tweets anything out about it.
That's your boy. That's your ace in the hole right there.
I would be very, very surprised if they hit 200. To be honest with you, I would be surprised.
Yeah. We'll see, man.
I would be surprised.
Fox was promoting it, but Fox wasn't even promoting it that hard. I didn't think Fox was really promoting it that hard. I've seen him promote harder. But yeah, man. Not good.
I really didn't see too much on it either. I didn't see hardly anything on it, but I wasn't too interested, so I wasn't really looking for nothing. I already knew what it was going to be. So what's Keith Thurman talking about? What's next for him?
He said he wants champions and belts.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
A lot of people think he's going to fight Tank next. I don't see it, but Tank, I mean, yeah, it may happen.
I could, I guess that's the reason why they did this matchup. I could see that leading into something like that.
They got a good common opponent.
What they'll do.
Good common opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. I mean, listen. Exactly. I don't hate the fight.
That's the only reason.
It's an interesting fight to me, man.
Neither. That's the only thing I could think of. Why would Keith Thurman and Barrios be fighting? I didn't really understand that, but if that's leading up to that, then okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Wasn't Barrios, he moved up in weight?
Yeah, he got knocked out by Tank, moved up in weight, and got beat by Thurman.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Thurman was just in there working on his stamina, his boxing, and and just trying to make a comeback, I guess, towards the next fight. But B, man, what's up with this Tyson Fury Dillian White? What's up, man?
Looks like it's a go, man.
They're fighting, yeah.
Looks like it's a go, man. Unless Dillian White says, "Hey, man, I want more money."
What does he get? 9 million, Beeb?
Okay.
His guarantee is like 8.
Yeah, and then he's got the back end pay-per-view.
Back end, I mean, I don't know what he wants, man.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
That's a lot of money, man.
That's something to look forward to.
Maybe he wants a Rolls Royce too. I don't know, man.
About that.
That would be the easiest thing to get. That would be the
fight.
easiest thing to get for him, you know.
How do you think that's going to play out? Hey, what's up with your man Wilder?
Good.
I heard he may retire.
Yeah, he's going to retire. He ain't coming back.
What's up with your man Wilder?
He I don't know, man. I don't know.
You a little disappointed? You sad? Are you sad?
No, I'm just no. If he retires,
I can sense a little bit of sadness in your voice.
Are you crying, dude?
Are you crying?
Did you just sniff your? Wait, hold on.
Are you okay?
Did you just sniff your nose?
I can hear you. I can hear you sniffing.
Are
a
you
little
crying,
bit.
son?
I can hear.
Are you for real? Over another dude?
Are you whimpering a little bit? Are you whimpering?
Man. What's wrong with you?
Maybe a little.
A little bit, right?
Look, if he retires, hey, I'm cool with that.
You want a Wilder poster? I'll send it to you.
Bullshit that happens with that type of fury. If he comes back, it's cool. But look, he's suspended, ain't he? He can't do no gym activities for, 6 months or something?
No, he can't go into sparring for 6 months.
Come on, he's doing the Bowflex at his house right now. Don't worry about that.
Got a Bowflex.
Got a Bowflex, man.
You're committed.
Got the Chuck Norris home gym, man. What are you talking about?
We ain't gonna hear
underrated gym, by the way.
I don't think we're gonna hear anything from Wilder until maybe give it next month or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What you guys think? You guys think he should come back or he should retire?
He's done.
Joseph Parker wants to fight him.
For what? I mean, what are you going to come back for? You're not going to make as much money as you did in this last fight. Why come back? You done had the belts. You had them. You defended them.
Wilder's set for life, man.
He's set. That guy is set for life.
Wait a minute. Time out, man. Wait a minute. Nah. He ain't set. He ain't set, man.
What you mean he ain't set?
Look at Mayweather. He coming back. But Mayweather,
because he's broke.
He's still coming back to try to make.
Mayweather is broke,
Why
son.
You say he's broke? Man,
you know what drives me crazy, Eric?
You
know what drives me crazy, Eric?
What?
Every time you say,
there's no way.
Every time you say to somebody, "Oh, Mayweather has money problems," or like his fans go crazy.
They go ape, don't they? Yeah, they go crazy, man.
I'm gonna explain, Brian. Listen to me, Brian. Listen to me. Listen to me, Brian.
Hold up.
Listen to me.
I gotta stop you first because I'm not a Mayweather fan, but I
sounds like it.
No, this dude got bread. Okay.
How do you know?
He got a gang bread.
How do you know? Then why is he still fighting? Why hasn't he paid Logan Paul yet? Why hasn't he paid Logan Paul yet if he's got so much money?
Brian, here's the problem with Mayweather. He's not liquid. Everything is tied up into assets.
Yep.
All right? He's not liquid. Do you realize after that Conor McGregor fight, they took his whole purse and he was still paying down a tax debt from 2010 in installments. You got people suing him, like D-Style said.
Right.
You got all these people suing him. He's stiffing jewelers. I mean, the other day, man, he went to Arby's, right? And
he's stiffing jewelers.
He went to Arby's the other day. He dined and dashed. That's how bad
he did. I saw him walk out. He walked out of there. He walked out of there. He didn't even pay for that roast beef, son.
Man. He dined and dashed.
He didn't even pay for it.
He dined and dashed, man. He went to Dairy Queen and got a Blizzard. Ran out of there, bro, before the guy could even give him the bill.
Why do they got Mayweather is listed as the most richest, almost the richest athlete ever, man?
No, he's not.
He's not.
Michael Jordan's is worth like $2 billion. What are you talking about?
He's not up. Nah, he's not over no Michael Jordan. He's not over Michael Jordan. But
he's not over Magic Johnson. He's not over LeBron James.
You gotta look at he did it without selling Nikes or nothing.
So
this
what?
Dude made money.
Stop.
Here we go again.
Look.
All right, Brian, we got to get rolling. Brian, we got to get rolling here. We got to get
cutting him off again?
Yeah, I'm cutting him off
again. You cut him off again.
He got what he wanted. There we go.
That ain't right, Eric. You cut him off again.
That's how it goes, son.
Every time
That's how we're rolling around here, son.
Dropping gems, you cut him off, Daddy.
He was dropping gems. He was dropping nothing. Area code 515. You're live.
What's up, guys? Chandler M.
Chandler M. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, man? Measuring guys is what at the again?
I forgot all about that story. That's right. He was checking that dude out.
No one's safe
Shake your
tonight.
hand at the urinal,
No one's
son.
safe tonight. I'm taking
Let me
shots
just
at
shake your
everybody.
hand, son. I just want to touch you. Over there by the urinals.
On the last dude, Mayweather is broke. Does everybody forget he's paying child support on like 10 kids, and it was all at the peak of his boxing heyday. So I imagine he's still paying that exact same child support payment a month.
Yeah, man. I mean, plus he buys $18 million watches and shit.
You can't sustain that. You can't sustain that kind of, you know what I mean? It just doesn't work.
No,
man.
and just that posse he rolls around with, they're not doing it for free. You know?
No.
I mean, it's
no.
probably got his purse and everything, but he's definitely paying those fools.
Well, he's got to pay all of them because there's, his
this.
bodyguards and stuff like that. Because he goes to the gym at night or whatever. He goes to the gym at all hours, so he's got to give them a call. They got to come over there. They got to, you know what I mean? Because he always travels with that entourage or whatever. Yeah, it's not. He's definitely paying out some dough.
I don't think he's as rich as he says he is. I bet he's in massive debt and not even trying to be like a conspiracy theorist. But I think he's probably a lot further in debt than people think.
Yeah.
But off this last weekend, man, I was pretty impressed with Barrios Jr. I know he was fighting a nobody or whatever, but it seems like he's got all the tools to be an up and coming dude prospect next year. And then I wasn't too impressed with Keith Thurman or Barrios. I don't think either one of them is going to make waves in that division. I still think Boots Ennis is probably the best, and I wasn't impressed whatsoever with Curtis Shields.
There you go. I agree. I think Boots Ennis is the guy, man. I really do.
So what's your thoughts on Dillian White and Tyson Fury? You think this fight's going to happen, or you think someone's going to walk away from these negotiations? What do you think's going to happen?
It's pretty much done, isn't it, though, Beeb? I mean, isn't it pretty much done?
Nah, it's not done. It's not done.
I don't think it's going to happen, man. I don't think it's going to happen whatsoever.
You don't think so?
Wow.
Why would Tyson Fury fight? Why would Tyson Fury fight Dillian White?
What's he getting? $30 million
for chump change.
$30 million, son. 30 million.
You got to think about it like this. Tyson Fury's not going to be around that much longer, and he's not going to go out against Dillian White. He either wants Usyk or he wants Joshua. All right, I gotta go. I got kids.
All right, go feed them kids, man.
I got kids. I gotta go. He sounded so dejected too. Like I got kids. I gotta go.
It's got the mac and cheese on the stove, man. Get it going.
443. I believe this is Baltimore. 443. You're live.
We already know this is Troy, man.
How you doing?
How you doing, President
Troy.
of the Dillian White fan club? How you doing today, brother?
Exactly. The Troy Graham experience. Please say the experience. Yes, it is I.
Troy Graham experience. Can you kiss this guy?
I thought it was a good fight for a guy that was coming back. And if you look at it, you got to look at it real, not so much from a fan point of view, but from a sensible point of view. You have a guy that's 5'11", and he's now fighting at 147. He's probably rehydrating to 157 or something like that, right? So he's not draining himself that much to make the weight. So he's a whole lot stronger now than he was fighting at 140. And then you have this guy that's coming off the layoff. And so he even said it himself, Thurman, that he felt some of the rust, right? But after the fight, you saw Barrios' face, right? You saw when he rearranged his face.
Yes. I mean, it was a good performance. I mean, I don't
would have had his timing and everything.
Yeah, I think it was a good performance. I don't have any criticism of it.
It was. I'm going to put you on speaker because this phone is hot.
Phone is hot.
The phone is hot.
You talk about this phone is hot, man.
What are you talking about?
What do you got, a burner phone?
I don't know, man.
The phone is hot. It's about ready to blow up on him.
What do you got, a freaking what do you got, a Nokia 560 from 2003? Come on. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Exactly. That's exactly. I have the very first cell phone ever created. But
you got a brick over there?
Yeah, I saw Barrios' face. He broke his nose and he put his nose on the other side of his face, pretty much messed up his eye. he just flattened his face out, you know. And Barrios bruised up his face, but those were normal bruises you get in a fight. They weren't the extensive bruises that Barrios got, right?
It's a fight. You're going to get hit.
But honestly,
it's a fight. You're going to get hit, though. You know.
Fight hurts Barrios at all.
You don't think it hurts Barrios?
I don't think this fight hurts him at all. No, I don't think it hurts him at all.
He got knocked out his last fight. He got whitewashed this fight. How does it not hurt him?
I mean, you got back-to-back losses.
No,
right.
It shows that he's a tough. But he gave Tank all he could handle before he was getting knocked out. And
that was good, yeah.
He still got knocked out though. You know what I mean? A loss is a loss. I mean, you got knocked out.
But he finished the fight on his feet. He finished the fight on his feet
with Thurman, but he got whitewashed. He lost just about every round. I mean, he did. He lost.
I understand what you're saying, but
you know what I'm saying?
I think he's a good. If you have a young fighter that's coming up, and you want a good name, and you get him to a certain point, and you want let's say you want a valid name on your record, Barrios. That's how you gauge where your fighter is, your young fighter. And if he gets himself back in order and he gets a couple of wins behind his name, that's even better, talking about Barrios. But every time I hear about Fury and White, everybody's saying, well, we don't know if the fight's going to happen. I haven't heard that either one of them signed a contract yet. So until they're in the ring fighting, that's when we'll know that the fight's going to go off. Because you haven't heard any confirmation that Fury signed a contract, have you?
No, there is no contract yet.
Have you?
No.
Yes,
no.
There is. It's the first bit. Okay. So what was this talk about? Billion didn't sign the contract yet.
Because there is no contract yet. They have to draw up a contract. There's more to a contract than just. There's more to a contract than just the just the splits.
What are all these channels talking about that Billion hasn't signed the contract yet?
Because these channels are idiots. There's no contract yet. I'll call Bob Arum right now. He'll tell you there's no contract right now. I can guarantee you there's no contract.
One in the know then.
What?
How come you're the only one with this information?
Because I talked to Bob Arum. That's why. Remember when everyone was reporting that $100 million deal, and I got on the phone with Bob Arum, and I have it. It's on my channel. That $100 million deal was bullshit.
Yep.
You got
to go to the source with a lot of these stories, man. You got to go to the source. What's this?
Yeah, exactly. But Bob wasn't the source for that contract because he wasn't even involved in that contract. Oh, what contract? You know what? No, we're gonna stick with this.
Bob would be a co-promoter in that event.
We're gonna stick with we're gonna stick with Fury and White.
Contract.
I just really want to see this fight, man. Go ahead, B.
No, I'm just saying the contract's hasn't been completed yet.
Well, I hope it gets done because honestly, I want to see White knock him out and then go on to become undisputed, man. That's what I want to see happen.
I think everybody wants to see something like that happen.
Maybe he could have and then he can have a steady run, and then he could retire because Fury is damaged goods. He's there to be beat. Joshua's mine.
You think White is going to beat Fury?
If he gets with Tommy.
Yeah, he loves White.
You're on, son. If this fight comes off, we're going to bet. We're going to bet, son. White's not winning that fight.
Okay, that's fine.
If anybody is damaged goods, it's White.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're totally betting that fight.
No.
Totally betting that.
He doesn't bet, Eric. He won't even bet you on ice cream.
Pie bet, like a pie bet.
He won't do it.
Fight.
What? You won't bet a pie bet with me?
Nah. I'll make an oxtail bet with.
What's an oxtail bet?
Oxtail's Caribbean food. Are you Caribbean?
I know oxtail soup. I make oxtail soup.
Are you Caribbean, Troy?
I'm Jamaican.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oxtail is the shit. Yeah. I like oxtail. We have a place out here.
I'll tell you what you do.
Go ahead.
Nah, I was being quiet.
We're listening.
We're listening. You said, tell us what you're going to do, man. You said you're going to do something. Go ahead.
I thought he was going to give us a recipe for oxtail.
I'm sorry. I tell you what I'll do. We'll go to Grubhub, and if I win, you just order me some oxtail. You use your credit card, you pay for it, and it comes to my house. If I lose, then I'll do the same thing for you.
All right, that works.
End of discussion. See?
That works.
Yeah, see how simple that is?
Yeah, we'll do that. Absolutely
Yeah.
do that, man.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, so you can order your own tie and put your own face in it.
That's right. That's right.
Look how much.
I like Troy's bets a lot better than
but I don't-
ours, man. Troy's got really good bets. You know, he's got food coming to your house and stuff like that. I got to sit here and embarrass myself on TV, you know.
Look how much time you give Troy, and then you cut Brian off as soon as he starts schooling you.
Troy's interesting.
All right, well, I'm going to go now. So, on that note, all I'm saying is Dillian White will be undisputed unless Tommy Brooks becomes Joshua's trainer. Unless Tommy Brooks becomes Joshua's trainer, Dillian White will be undisputed champion.
What about Ronnie Shields? You're not
champion
crazy about Ronnie Shields?
Okay.
You're not crazy about Ronnie Shields?
Ronnie Shields is good, but why you want to go to the student when you can have the teacher?
I got you.
Tommy Brooks is there's no trainer alive that's more accomplished than Tommy Brooks.
You remember when they had
nobody says I can prove it.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Troy, we're gonna get running here. Let's see here. All right, let's go before we go back to the phones here. Let's see here. Let's go to the upcoming fights here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, the fight from Cancun, Mexico on ESPN Plus tonight. David Cuellar versus Ricardo Blandon. That's what he called to interrupt about. That's the fight. That's the fight that had to stop the press.
You know he always has to like.
Are you for real?
You know what I don't like about this kid?
Robert, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I know you're listening right now. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's the fight you wanted to stop and talk about. Stop it, man.
This kid thinks he's like fucking TV guy. He's always got to tell us what's on and shit. I mean, please.
Come on, man. He's usually got good information. That was terrible.
I have a T-bow, man. I don't need this friggin' kid calling. Oh, this is on. That's on.
Oh, stop it. What's the matter with you?
This fucking kid.
You take things too far, man. February 11th in London. I believe this is a Friday on ESPN Plus. Danny Dignam versus Grant Dennis, 10 rounds middleweights. Lee McGregor versus Diego. Who is this? Who puts these on? Who is this?
I don't know. This is
what
Robbie,
is this? Is this that?
This is the Robbie special.
This the MTK stuff? This is awful.
This is the Robbie special.
Awful. Yeah, I'm not watching that. No. Grant Dennis and Danny Dick. Stop. Give me something to watch here. February 12th, Saturday on DAZN from London. Danny Jacobs versus John Ryder, 12 rounds super middleweights. Ellie Scottney versus Jorgelina Guani, 10 rounds women's junior featherweights. Yeah.
You're not watching that, are you, Eric?
What do you think? I'll watch the main event, but fast forward the rest of it. Felix Cash versus Magmog Matiev, 8 rounds middleweights, and no real star power on this one here. Danny Jacobs and John Ryder. That's it for the weekend. Next weekend we got February 19th. We got Amir Khan and Kell Brook, and we'll talk about that's going to be on ESPN Plus. But let's talk about Jacobs and Ryder here real quick, man. I like Ryder a lot, but Jacobs can go, man. But Jacobs is a little long in the tooth, to be honest with you, I think.
This is a 50-50 fight, brother.
It really is. It really is.
I would
really like to see Ryder win, man. I
thought Ryder beat Callum Smith. I scored that fight 8 rounds to 4 for Ryder.
Yeah.
I thought he won the fight. I didn't even think it was. I mean, it was competitive.
I thought Callum Smith won that fight.
You did.
I did. And it was funny because our scorecards were completely opposite.
Yeah.
I had Callum Smith winning big. I had him winning like 8-4 or something like that. And you had John Ryder 8-4.
I had John Ryder 8-4.
Yeah, we were both all over the place on that.
I guess it was one of those fights, depending on what you liked.
Yeah, D-Style says Jacobs wins. Yeah, man, I tell you what, it's either one that wins. I'm just looking forward to a good fight, man. I thought
Gabe Rosado beat Jacobs in his last fight.
I did too. That was surprising to me. But I did too. I thought he did. Aaron Daly said Felix Cash is a really good top talent. He's going to be on fighting Magmov Matiev middleweights. So yeah, man, we'll check it out, man. We'll check it out. See what happens. All right, let's get to the news and rumors here. A couple of news stories here. Not a whole lot. Now, Mayweather is set to start a NASCAR team. Now, he's partnering in with some people to make a car and put his logo on it. He's not like, buying the car or anything. I think he's just like slapping his name on it and, investing in the franchise. But the funny part about all this is that this week, because this happened this week, Logan Paul came out and said he's not been paid for the Mayweather fight.
Suing him.
Yeah. And they talked to Dana White about this. And this is interesting because I guess I don't really think about it that often, but it makes sense. So Dana White was saying when there's a commission involved, right? Because there was no commission involved in this one, or it was like a shaky type because it was an exhibition type thing. He said that like in commissions like Las Vegas and California, he said what happens is the purse money gets paid to the commission so that the fighters get paid right away without any snafus or anything like that. They get paid right away.
Yeah, there's another reason why they do that too. In case they have to hold up the purse if the fighter does something that they're not supposed to do.
It like walks out of the ring before the bell, right after the bell rings.
Sure. I mean, but obviously the promoter writes the check, but the commission's holding on to it. Yeah.
Cam Joseph said he looks like a big Mayweather fan. He says that if Logan didn't get paid, then Floyd didn't get paid. Y'all stop saying that Floyd didn't pay Logan. Yeah, of course.
Mayweather was the promoter of the event. It's promoter of the event. He's
right.
Mayweather was a Mayweather Promotions event. So
yeah, and the commission didn't get the money, so they were paying them. Because they don't have to, I guess, on an exhibition, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So there was nobody to pay. So yeah, he was the promoter of the event.
Yeah.
So
again, it's called cognitive dissonance, Eric. You can't
do, man.
You can't reason with cognitive dissonance. But my question is this: if they did have a contract, would that be enforceable in a court of law? That's I
believe it would be. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
That's the $1 million question. So I think when Dana was saying, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but maybe he's saying that there's there was a way for him not to get paid right away or whatever. But I'm sure if they have something written down and they have a documentation of it being signed, then I don't know. I mean, Dana would know more than me, obviously. He is a promoter, so.
Right. And I wonder, like in the contract, if if there's a time limit that you get paid in, like we're going to pay you within 48 hours after the event takes place, you'll get paid within 48 hours or something to that effect.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure, he wouldn't sue him if he didn't have a case.
That's really lousy though, if he didn't pay him.
How many people have come out and said Mayweather didn't pay them though?
Lots.
Think about it.
Lots.
He didn't even pay his landscapers. Jewelers, landscapers.
It's just the list goes on and on, dude.
Car. He didn't make a car. He was like defaulted on car payments once.
Typically, okay. So run this down to me, Beeb. And I know like football players and stuff like that, and like high profile athletes. None of those guys handle their finances. They have a dude, or even the bank. I know for a fact the bank, like those big banks like Chase and stuff like that. They have people that work with these people. All right, they have people that work with them for a fee or whatever. Hey, give me all your finances, give me your bills, everything like that, and we'll pay them all. We'll make sure everything's paid each month. We'll make sure blah blah blah. I don't understand. Like, how do they? I mean, Eric, the stuff is out there to help them.
You're talking about a guy who would walk around with a duffel bag filled with money for what? You know what I mean? It's just
right.
Just
to look, you know what I'm saying?
Then he supposedly has $100 million check that he hasn't cashed yet. Like, for what? I mean,
he's got $100 million check he hasn't cashed. Okay. Yeah.
Remember he was posting. I don't know how true that was, but he was posting his $100 million check from the Pacquiao fight. Oh, I haven't cashed it yet.
Yeah. Why don't you work on promoting your fighters? You know what I'm saying? Rather than promote your fighters.
And then he buys an $18 million. I mean, I don't know, man. If someone has to keep telling you that I make smart how many times do you hear Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos when they're being interviewed? Oh, I make smart business moves. I mean,
right.
It's obvious you're making smart business moves. You're all billionaires. You don't have to keep telling us you're making smart.
Right.
Like, I make smart business. Like when someone constantly repeats something like that, they're trying to convince themselves, not you.
That's it. Jamal Charlo, the robbery case that he had with that lady in the restaurant. You remember that? Lack of evidence.
Debate about this one.
We did. Lack of evidence. Lack of evidence.
Told you.
There you go. Lack of evidence. Klitschko volunteers for the Ukrainian army, Beeb. Former heavyweight boxing champion Vladimir Klitschko enlisted in Ukraine's reserve army in Kiev on Wednesday, saying that a love for his country compelled him to defend it. That's insane, because that place looks like it's about 20 minutes away from war right now. And I tell you what, when if Russia goes in there, that place is going to fall quick. They got a lot of firepower over there in Russia, man. A lot of firepower. Happy birthday to Oscar De La Hoya this week, Beeb. Happy birthday to him. Let me see if I can bring these pictures up.
Show me these pictures, man. His girlfriend's kind of hot.
She is pretty hot. Yeah, she is pretty hot.
Can't hit on De La Hoya, man. He can pull those honey dips.
Yeah, he sure can he?
God damn, look at that. Oh.
Right?
What's her name?
Huh?
What's her name?
I don't know. Who cares?
Can you blow that? Oh, look at this.
Here, let me convey.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd want to take pictures like that with my girl.
Yeah, I don't either, man.
I don't know, man.
Let me go full screen with this guy.
I'm not with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, with his girlfriend isn't like she's like an Instagram model or something stupid, you know? Look at this, Jesus. He's over there in his underwear, like posing around. What a doofus.
Mine's a goof. Like, where did he put this stuff?
He put it on Instagram. Like, she set it up, I guess, and I guess it was on her Instagram or something.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
Right? And he looks like so stupid. Got that dumb little sash on, that dumb look on his face. Oh my God, stop. What is this? Good Lord. What's wrong with people, Beeb?
Yeah, I'm not
What's wrong with him? It's insane. And Jam says Oscar's a freak, though. You think?
Yes, he is.
Like we're all sitting around wondering, you know. 805, you're live.
Wake up, Nacho.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Nacho.
How's it going? Long time no hear, man. Long time no hear. How you been, man?
Well, there wasn't really. I'm good.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There wasn't a lot of fights. There wasn't a lot of fights. Wasn't a lot of fights. We missed you though, man. We missed you. Like
we did.
Your caller of the year, man. I mean, you got to call in more.
Nacho knew that chick's name. Nacho knew that chick's name.
Yeah.
That's his beat off material. Come on, Chris knows that. He's got the freaking centerfold of her.
Nacho must have been peeping that girl out big. He was like Instagram stalking her and everything.
Takes his morning crap. That comes that her autographed picture comes in the room bathroom with him.
Yeah. Hey guys, she actually used to date some big time sports bettor in Vegas. I don't know if you guys have seen him. He's got like a YouTube documentary out where he claims he's made all these hundreds of millions of dollars just being a pro gambler in Vegas. That's his ex-girlfriend.
I heard she dated a lot of those guys. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumors out there.
One of those, you know. She's
Would you date her, Nacho?
So
yeah, would you date her?
One of those.
Nacho, would you date her?
Date her, yeah, but not anything other than that, though.
Like if she said to you,
got a track record of being a gold digger.
Let me ask you a question, Notch.
Nacho says I'm keeping all mine.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Say it's around. Say it's around the holidays, Notch. Check this out now. Check the scene out. I'm gonna set up the scenario for you right now.
It is. Set it up, Beeb.
Say it's around the holidays, right? You and her have been dating for like 6 months, and she goes,
"Yeah,
Nacho, I'd love to spend Christmas dinner with you and your family." Is she gonna be
your mama?
Is she gonna be at the Nacho residence, sitting down with the family, opening gifts, eating turkey?
Nah, not after 6 months. I think I'd have to go at least a full year before I.
Full year? That's the criteria?
Yeah. Full year, huh?
Yeah.
You know what the Beeb's criteria is?
Yeah.
6 minutes.
3
6
weeks.
minutes, son.
3 weeks and you're in.
It's 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks and you're in.
6 minutes, son. She said hi. She's coming home, son. That's it. So Nacho, so you're telling me the way this girl looks and everything like that, she's over there and she says, you know, hey Nacho, I want to get with you. I want to, you know, I want to take this to the next level. You're not down with that?
Not until I'm convinced that she's not like I said.
What would it take to convince Nacho besides a kiss on the cheek from this chick? What would it take to convince Nacho?
Say she opens up her phone for you, right? Say she opens up her phone for you and just starts deleting all of her guy friends out of
like De La Hoya's number is gone,
and then she just leaves your name right there, and she says, "Nacho, you're the one, baby."
Yeah,
what do you
she
do?
Said it too.
What do you do, Nach?
She said it just like that.
Nacho, you're the one, baby. What do you do, Nach? Tell me.
Wow, that's an interesting scenario.
Because she got a burner phone in the back.
I think you'd break down, Nach. I think you'd break down
in a heartbeat. I think he's taking her home to see mom.
You know what I would think? I
think he's taking her home to his family and everything.
I actually think you would cook her.
This is Holly.
Eric's already putting the burner phone out there. Come on,
he
Eric.
said he came in. He had Holly over there for tamales and everything like that. Boy, Nacho knew what was going on.
I actually think that you would not only invite her over the house, you would cook the dinner for her at that point. But go ahead, Nach. It's your you got the floor, Nach. Burn.
It's your floor. You got the floor.
You got the floor, Nach. Go ahead, burn, baby. Enough with that stuff.
I had to endure all this nonsense, you know.
Enough with that stuff. Go ahead, Nach. Burn.
Yeah, no. After all these hypotheticals about Holly Saunders. Yeah, just really quick. I just wanted to talk really quick about the fights last night. The first one I want to talk about is that horrible robbery of Vasquez against Raymond Ford. That poor kid got jobbed big time by those judges. There's no way that Ford won 7 and 8 rounds on those cards like they said. To me, that kid Vasquez won that fight pretty easily. I thought, if anything, the fight should have been 7-3 his way. And the fact that the judges screwed him over like that, it's horrible. I hope that, Eddie Hearn legitimately puts a rematch together and gives the kid another shot at Ford. But I mean, I don't know. Who knows? With the controversy that happened from that fight and people talking about it, maybe he does get another shot at him. But that was probably the worst card of the weekend, as far as one guy completely got outclassed and they gave him the decision anyway. So that was bogus. And then with Cuadras and Bam, I mean, a lot of people who had seen Bam, knew that the kid was talented, but also too, I think his management team did a great job of picking a guy that was a little shop worn and had a little bit of wear and tear on him, and they kind of knew he wasn't at his best, going into the fight, and so Bam was going to be the younger, fresher, hungrier guy, and he proved it last night. I mean, Cuadras put up a really good effort, but I just felt like Bam, was just a better guy, and he proved it last night. And good for him that he gets this win, and now he kind of puts himself out there as a contender in that division if he ends up staying at 115. But I wouldn't mind seeing that kid, maybe go back down to 112, because I think he could clean out that division and, beat those guys, especially beat that dude, Sonny Edwards. That guy's just a loudmouth. So I wouldn't mind seeing him take on Sonny Edwards and see if he can beat him. And then as far as the Eubank Williams, I don't understand Eubank's habit of, he gets guys in trouble and basically is dominating the fight, but instead of going out there to try to go in for the kill and take these dudes out, he just decides to coast and lay back and basically just win a boring decision at the end. And it's like, and then he has the nerve to tell the reporter after the fight, oh yeah, if I really wanted to, I could have gotten him out of there, but I wanted to teach him a lesson. I was like, really? I was like, you should have took this dude out of there. That dude was completely outclassed, and you proved it. Like, if anything, you should have just put him out of his misery and, ended the fight early instead of just dragging it on and not really.
Yeah, that's code. That right there is code for I couldn't put him away.
Yeah, that's kind of what some of the broadcasters, like Johnny Nelson, said, he goes, if he really could have put him away, he would have. The fact that he didn't is really just him saying it, you know. So, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see, you know, who he gets next, because most of the top guys in the division are busy right now. They have fights scheduled, so I'd be curious to see what he gets next. But I mean, Billy Joe Saunders is throwing his name out there into the mix, thinking that he might want to get a shot at him again. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then the PBC card. At least the fights were somewhat entertaining, especially the Neri and the Jesus Ramos fight.
Did you buy that card,
were,
Nacho?
You know, fun to watch. No, I went to a bar here in town where I live, Eric. They were showing it.
I got
so
you.
I went and watched it there. Yeah, so I went and watched it there, and like I said, the first couple fights were really entertaining. So, you know, that was fun. The only one that was just kind of real pedestrian out of all of them was the Santa Cruz fight. I mean, Keenan Carvajal sucked, and he couldn't put that guy away. That's just horrible. Santa Cruz did say that he wants to take on the winner of Wood and Conlon to defend that belt of his that he hasn't defended in like 3 years. And if that's the case, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, because I think one of those guys could beat him at this point. I mean, I just think he's a very faded version of what he used to be at this point. So I wouldn't mind seeing him take on the winner of that fight. And then just with Thurman and Barrios, I mean, I give Thurman a lot of credit as far as like coming back from that layoff and looking relatively good. I mean, yeah, you could tell that, you know, he was still rusty in certain spots, but as far as like some of these people out here talking about that he's a legitimate top 5 contender again off that win last night, I'm like, dude, come on. He beat Mario Barrios. Like, let's pump the brakes on that. Let's see him fight a top 10 guy and beat a top 10 guy first before we start crowning him again and saying he's a legitimate threat to Spence, Crawford, Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, and those guys. Because at this point, I just think he's a name, and he's trying to get his name back out there. But beating Mario Barrios last night doesn't necessarily make him a contender or a threat to the guys out there. You know,
Notch,
right?
Notch, can I ask
All
you
right,
a
guys.
question? Let me ask you a quick question. Let me ask you a quick question before you go.
Yeah.
2 quick questions. Was it the right fight at the right time? And what happened between Carvajal and Michael Carvajal? They had some type of issue. Do you know what that issue was?
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
What are they brothers?
So
They're not brothers, are they?
No, Michael Carvajal was his uncle.
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened
So
there?
Michael Carvajal and his brother. Okay, so from what I read, there was an article they put out a few months ago, and someone gave me the link, and I looked at it. So Michael and Danny basically had a falling out years ago over the fact that Michael is pissed off that Danny ripped him off of money and property that he had accumulated during his career. And because of that fallout, Danny basically got sued by Michael, and Michael won some of his money back, but they had a falling out. And then at one point, I guess Danny tried to evict their mother out of a property that I guess Michael owned, saying that Danny was like the rightful owner. Like, he did a bunch of shady stuff.
Wow.
And so I don't blame Michael. If Michael's version is the truth, he got ripped off by his brother, and then, you know, he's trying to evict the mom from a property. And then on top of that, the article stated that his brother was accused at one point of possibly being a suspect in his ex-wife's and her boyfriend's murder, because
Jesus.
the ex-wife of Danny Carvajal and the brother got killed like about 15 years ago. They got killed in a very suspicious murder somewhere in Phoenix, and they accused him of being involved, but unfortunately the cops just were never able to prove it. So basically, Michael has distanced himself from the brother, and the brother and his son Keenan are out here basically, you know, saying that they're like descendants of Michael, which they are, but Michael has just said like, yeah, you know what, I don't want nothing to do with these dudes. Like, they can say whatever they want. Like, I don't have nothing to do with them. So it's just a sad situation, but
Wow.
I don't blame Michael Carbajal for feeling the way he does. You know, that's a shady situation that his brother, you know, went and did against him. So, and then with the other question, B, it's pretty wild. It could be a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And then with Thurman, I think it was the right fight at the right time, B, because you got a guy who, you know, moved up in weight, isn't really, you know, experienced to the point that he was ready for an older veteran who does have experience like Thurman. And, you know, it's going to take some time for Barrios to legitimately get acclimated to being a welterweight. Ideally, if anything, I wouldn't mind seeing Thurman, you know, take on a guy like, I mean, I know they probably would never do it, but if he was to take on a guy like David Avanesian and beat a guy like that, then I would legitimately believe he's back as a 147-pounder.
That's not going to happen. There's no money in it.
Like
there's no money in it. He's not going to fight that guy. He's only looking for big fights right now, and Avanesian doesn't fit that mold. All right, Nacho, we're going to get running, man. Thank you so much, man.
All right, guys.
That's crazy, that Carbajal story, Beeb.
I didn't know that, man.
I didn't know that either.
I was wondering what he did because they're just using.
Well, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he was at the fight, but then I thought about it. No, he was at the DAZN fight, the Cuadras fight, wasn't he?
The Cuadras fight, yeah.
Right, because I saw him in the audience, and I was like, wow. I was like, there's another Carbajal fight. And I'm like, wow, why ain't he there? It was just,
yeah.
Man.
Michael Carbajal is the nicest guy in the world too, man. Like he comes off as the nicest guy in the world. It's always I think he was like I think him and Chiquita Gonzalez were the first flyweights ever to make $1 million.
Oh, those fights were amazing, right?
Those were incredible fights. Man.
All of those fights, every single one of them, man.
And he was a silver medalist at the Olympics too. He was a great fighter, man.
Yeah, that guy's a solid fighter, man. For sure. One of the best to ever do it at that weight, man, for sure. All right, guys, make sure you guys hit the like button if you guys like what we're doing and everything like that, man. Hit the like button. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, all that other good stuff. That is going to do it for the news, all right? And that's going to do it for us here. Now, next week,
12, right?
12 p.m.?
I'll be ready.
Bet.
Swedish massage. We'll have to take
just have her come over the house this time. You know?
Yeah, she'll come over the house, man.
Yeah, have Lois come over.
We'll just jump in the shower.
Oh, stop it. TMI. Not all.
I mean, people know the beep, man. They know the beep. So he's an open book.
We'll be coming to you 12 o'clock for the Super Bowl next week. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. You can catch me on Twitter at Ringside73. And you can find our YouTube channel. What's that?
One plug before I interrupt you.
RingsideReporterLive.com is where you can catch us. What's up?
I was going to say one thing before. I hate to interrupt you, but before I forget.
Then don't. You hate to interrupt me, but you do it. So don't do it.
The roundtable will be on this channel, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday.
Yes. Hey, okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. Because if you guys have not checked out the roundtable yet, it's a cool show. It really is. They got podcasters from all over. They all talk about boxing podcasters from all over. They talk about it. It'll be on our channel or whatever. You guys got to check. If you haven't seen it, come check it out, man. It's great. It's a good show.
I had to interrupt you because I know right after you finish, sometimes you just stop it, like you cut off Brian. I didn't want you to cut me off. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's right. I cut Brian. I'm gonna cut you off too. All right, guys, that'll do it. We will catch you guys Thursday, and then we'll catch you guys